Thank you, Taylor. I'm now excited to show you our two new signals, intent and web de-anonymization, and show you how you can use both of these signals to orchestrate your sales and your advertising activities on UserGems. You can find both of these signals in our signal library, where you can also find other signals like past champions, customer competitors, hiring, or revive closed lost. You can also add custom signals here for information that's important to you, for example, webinar attendees. In order to activate our native website visitors, all you have to do is add this tag to your website. From that moment on, we will automatically start to de-anonymize every visitor on a person and contact level. If we can identify the person, we will flag that in the prospects list on the person level, but also highlight it on the company level. If we can only identify the company, then we'll highlight it on the company level, but also automatically search for prospects at that company that are persona matching, so that you have someone to reach out to. You can also directly on UserGems exclude certain URLs. For example, if someone visits your careers page, or prioritize certain visits. For example, if someone visits the pricing page. Regarding the persona, also here, UserGems automatically identifies titles that are important to you. That means whenever you create a persona or update a persona, you see some suggestions from UserGems. In this case, for example, we're suggesting to add business development. And the reason why we're suggesting this title is because we've identified that there are 9 directors of business development in your current OpenUp contacts. And that's why you should add it to your persona. As always, you can add or remove any title from the persona. In order to activate intent, you also go to our signal library, click on contact and account intent, and then you can select topics out of our list of more than 30,000 intent topics. You can then also group them into groups that are important to you. For example, in our case, we created AI sales with topics like AI sales assistant software, generative AI in sales. And we've also created the group AI marketing and ABM with topics like email marketing and ABM. This means now every prospect and every company that shows interest in any of these topics will be automatically highlighted in your prospects list as long as they match the ICP criteria and as long as the prospect is persona matching. Any person that shows intent will then automatically also get prioritized in the prospect list. But signals are not the only information we use for account and prospect prioritization. We've developed a sophisticated AI scoring model that uses more than 1,000 factors to determine what is a good account. We start by understanding you, because AI is only as good as the data it uses. And we do this by looking into your very best customer accounts and looking for similarities. For example, in this case, our scoring model identified similarities among our customers. One of them is that many of our customers are hiring for SDR. 43% are hiring for this role. It also identified that this is much higher than at comparable companies that also fit our ICP. We also looked at tech stack, and our model identified that 35% of our customers are using outreach, which is 14 times higher than companies that are also ICP matching. And for this reason, our system decided that these two are important factors. From that moment on, they will be used to prioritize accounts that are hiring for SDR or are using outreach. But the best thing about our account scoring model is that it's not a black box and that you don't need a data scientist to adjust it. If you think a factor should be more or less important, you can simply go to this factor and change the score. This will then automatically recalculate the account list. You can also change the score of any of the native signals we provided or the custom signals you provided, and do the same for prospect signals. All of that information is then used to generate a list with top rated accounts. And every account is scored between A, very good account, and D. With this account list, you can then create a campaign that automatically reaches out to prospects at these accounts and advertises to them on LinkedIn. Let me show you how that works. We created a campaign called Persona Match at Target Accounts. And we decided we want to reach out to target accounts that have a score of A or B and that showed intent. We also want to reach out to only past champions and new hires that match our persona. And with this audience, our outbound agent then reaches out to the people that match the audience, and our marketing agent advertises to the very same people. Let's start with the outbound agent. In this case, we decided that we want to limit it to 10 people per company in month and 50 people per sales rep per day. The first step in the outbound agent is to generate AI messages. Let me show you how the AI messages look like. This is a list of closed lost accounts at UserGems. Closed lost accounts are particularly interesting because there's a history with these accounts. There were calls in the past, there were emails exchanged, and UserGems can automatically look into the past calls and the past emails and extract the most important information. In this case, for example, we automatically extracted the closed lost reason that they chose a competitor, the last milestone that they decided to go with LeadIQ because they were already using LeadIQ in the past, but that they acknowledged that UserGems is a leader in the space. For this reason, it makes sense to re-engage with them at some point and ask them if LeadIQ is meeting their expectations. However, that's not all the information we have. We extracted a lot more information. For example, we extracted if goals were discussed, if pain points were mentioned, if they tried any solutions, if they had any objections mentioned during the calls, and if pricing was discussed. All of that information can then be used by your sales rep, or it is also used in order to generate AI emails. For example, if we want to reach out to Flora at Security Scorecard, we can see all the reasons to engage. For example, there is a closed lost op contact at Security Scorecard. They acquired Hypercomply and are partnering with Crow, and they're hiring for specific roles that we consider important. All of that information, combined with the closed lost information I just showed, is then used for the emails we generate. We not only generate the first email, we generate all emails in the sequence and use different information in each of these signals. In the very first email, we ask right away if LeadIQ is working out for them. In the second email, we mention that they partnered with Crow and tailor this towards our value proposition. In the third email, we mentioned that the hiring across sales, customer success, and revenue operations, and also tailor that toward our value proposition. In the fourth email, we mentioned a case study with Sendoso, a company that's somewhat similar to Security Scorecard. And we also mentioned that one of her colleagues evaluated UserGems earlier this year. Another example is MongoDB. We have a couple of closed one-up contacts at MongoDB when they worked at different companies. That's important information when we reach out to, for example, a new hire. In this case, Adrian Cohn. Also here, we see all the information, all the reasons to engage with her and with MongoDB. The closed one-up context, the fact that she was hired recently, someone visited our website. MongoDB is a competitor to one of our customers. And also here, all that information is used for the messages. In the first email, we congratulate her on her new role and give her a little gift because Adrian has a title that's very important to us. We also mentioned that a colleague looked into UserGems earlier this year. In the second email, we mentioned that there are colleagues at MongoDB that already used UserGems. Adrian might not be quite ready yet to jump on a call with us, but pointing her to colleagues she can talk to means she can already collect some more information about UserGems. We mentioned that they're hiring for sales, and we're also mentioning that they're using Salesloft, which is a tool that we integrate with. In the fourth email, we're mentioning that 2 of our customers are actually a competitor to MongoDB. We do this because our data scientist team found out that mentioning customer competitors increases the response rate by 50%. You can adjust all these emails to your company as well as to however you prefer the tone of the email to be. Here you can upload, for example, your value proposition, sample emails that worked well so that you train our AI model, any case studies you had and that should be mentioned, any new features and when they were added. That information is then used, for example, if we reach out to a closed lost contact, so that we can mention that there were some new products released since they last evaluated UserGems. And you can also add a gifting link for selected decision makers. All that information is used in order to tailor the content to your company and to your value proposition. But you can also directly via prompt make additional adjustments. Here, for example, you could tell our AI messaging system that it should write shorter or longer emails, or you could even mention that it should write in a different language. After generating the AI messages, we add the prospect into your CRM, in this case, into Salesforce. Next, we add them to a pre-selected sequence, in this case, into Outreach. And at the end, we let the sales rep know that 50 prospects have been prepared and that the messages are waiting for his review. At the same time, the marketing agent starts to process the very same prospects. In this case, we decided not to add a limit so that everybody who fits the audience will get advertised too. This means they might even see an ad before they receive the first email. In order to add people into your audience, all you have to do is connect your LinkedIn account and then select the audience you would like us to add the prospects to. We directly add prospects into this audience and not accounts because we know that accounts are not that helpful for marketing. And we have a match rate of more than 70% on LinkedIn. Whenever a new account or prospect matches this audience, it gets automatically processed through the outbound agent and the marketing agent. We also automatically recalculate the score of all accounts. And if an account suddenly has a higher score because they visited the website, because they showed intent, then it will be automatically prioritized in this workflow. And with that, all your sales and all your marketing activities are orchestrated end to end on UserGems.